Welcome back to the Armored Duck Podcast, adventurers. My name is Lilas, and I am here today with
Olive,
Debbie Gordon,
Stumbleduck, Linkolas,
and Amiri.
Welcome back. And we set up a community poll to find out what you all wanted the next topic to be. And that topic you all chose was spells. So I took that seriously, and I brought my spells with me, and we've had several snow days, and we also had winter break, so we're excited to be back. But some of us forgot to bring some spells with us, so I think this is going to be a multi-episode topic that we're going to have today. So I brought mine. We're going to go over my spells my homebrew spells. We're going to discuss what how they could be applied, what the limitations are, what the bonuses are, how DMs would allow that to play out, and then some questions about, what could go wrong, or, how it might potentially fall apart. So I guess we should just get to it. So the first spell that I have is called a crate of kidnapped puppies, and it's in development. I haven't got it totally developed yet. The idea is that it's a small crate. It's like it's a bag of holding in a way. I know bags of holding aren't supposed to, things can't live inside them, but it's kind of like Harry Potter, the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, how they have that whole other world inside of the suitcase. So it's that kind of idea. So you have this small box that you would carry in your pocket, and when you run up against something that you need to CC or crowd control, you would throw it at the feet of the boss or monster or whatever it is you're trying to trap, and the crate will burst open and out pours a litter of crossbred chocolate lab. It's half chocolate lab, half displacer beast. So they're really cute, furry, brown, chocolatey Labrador puppies with the like a hybrid with the tentacles from the displacer beast. And they would wrap around the legs, depending on the size of the boss or whoever it is you're trying to slow down. They would attempt to wrap their tentacles around the legs of your opponent. There are 6 of them, so it depends on the size of the whatever it is you're battling, but they would then kill with cuteness. And I thought that was so much fun. It's, and I don't know, maybe they chew on the legs of the person's boot or pants or whatever, and they can't get away, but somehow, some way, and this is in development, but I thought it was a lot of fun, and I thought I'd bring it anyway to sort of discuss it here. So as DMs, would you allow your players, would you give this to your players if you know early on that, hey, later on I'm going to have, a 2 boss situation, and they can use this to crowd control one boss while they fight the other? Or, how would you apply this or allow it to unfold?
I would personally use this for a prank on someone or to steal someone's money. So I would give it to them as a gift, but I would train the puppies to steal their gold. So I was like, here you go. But then once the puppies get out of the box, I would have them take their money, take whatever valuables they have, come back to me, and then they'd go back in the box. So I could just go around the city doing that.
Oh, okay. So it's a reusable crate of kidnapped puppies.
That's what I'd probably say. I mean, unless the crate is just one-time use.
Okay.
Consumable.
Well, so interesting. So it almost sounds like they're kind of like a hybrid between Chocolate Lab, Displacer Beast, Niffler sort of situation, where they're going to rob you, pat you down with their with their tentacles.
Yeah.
and steal all your goods. That would be hilarious. I think that'd be hilarious. Demi Gordon, you have some input.
Yeah. So a displacer beast is big and it kind of looks like a panther. So if it's super big, would the puppies be the same size? Or would it be just a puppy with tentacles?
That is a good question. And I think, I think it depends on the DM and like what you decide to allow to happen. Because just because something's big doesn't mean it can't be a puppy. So, you know what I mean? Like there are giraffes and when they're born, they're huge, So same kind of concept where displacer beasts are huge, but they're also like, so you get the chocolate lab part of it where they have this silky fur and these big brown eyes and the waggly tail. So you get the cuteness of a giant puppy. So it'd be like having a U-sized puppy, right? I mean, that's what's in my mind anyway.
And because they're puppies, would they grow bigger and not be as cute? Because puppies and dogs have a different cuteness level.
That is that's a great question. And I think it depends on your campaign. Maybe the dogs are in stasis, like the puppies are in stasis until they're activated. And then once they're activated, then they grow. I'm not really sure. That's an interesting question. And I think, that it's that whole point where Lincolus was like, okay, I want them to go back in the puppy box. Are they forever puppies? That's a good question. Or like Demi Gordon said, will they grow up? And I think as a DM, if it's a homebrew situation like that, I think you got to kind of make that call as a DM. I mean, I can see how either way it could be a lot of fun in your campaign. Like maybe once you open up that crate, as long as the puppies live, like you have to now take care of 6 displacer beast puppies. And, like I know Lincolus, you love chaos. Like that is like you love to create chaos in your campaign. So I could see how that would be something where, they have to figure out how to take care of these 6 displacer beast Labrador ever chewing puppies. Olive?
I think it'd be really tough to feed all these puppies. Like, because if they're as big as a human and they're just getting bigger, where are you going to get all the food for them?
That is a great question.
And like a puppy, like, I would know. They eat so much per day. Like, they eat their weight in food every day. Like, where are you going to find beasts this big to feed them every day?
Maybe that's why they go back in the crate.
Do you think they would eat you? Like, if it came down to it, would they start to starve and just be like...
So I know, like, there's a good chance that a dog would starve with you. There's a good chance that a dog would starve. If you were to die, the dog would starve to death because it wouldn't want to eat you, because it'd be like you eating a family member. But it is part displacer beast, so that could happen.
Well, and as puppies, they don't have that same bond yet as like an older dog would. Like,
that's true.
They've known you for 30 days and you might just look yummy.
You might just look yummy. I guess that's a possibility.
When I'm looking at a displacer beast, it's very like a feline kind of character. And there's always like the theory that like, oh, if you died in your sleep, your cat would eat you to survive, but the dog would not. So I would wonder if the displacer beast is like a feline, which side would be, like, because it stayed on the concept of like, would it eat you eventually?
Yeah,
if it was hungry enough, would it, or would it like be like, oh no, that's my owner, that's my friend?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I know a few incidences where dogs have ate their owners, and that's because of the bad caring of the dogs. So, if the beast was not cared for, it would eat the owner, and that could also be useful too, because I have a few people who had a bunch of pets, and they didn't care for them.
In your campaign or in real life?
Oh, in the campaign.
Oh, okay. Oh, that would be a good punishment.
Yeah.
That would be a
And,
good punishment.
If you would give them that for a pet, and it's either you care for them or you will get eaten. And if you care for them, then they would care for you and attack the beasts. But once you open the crate and not feeding them, then they would join the beast's side or just become wild.
That is a great sort of lesson to teach your campaign members if they're not taking care of their animals. Like, that's a great idea. I like that.
So good.
We did start this. We had to restart the podcast. We had an issue today with something happened, and we had to, there was something that lost connection or something. Yeah. So we had to restart, and we lost everything. A good, I don't know, half an hour of recording. So we have we're re-recording this. But Demi Gordon, you had a great question about the mother of the puppies. Do you want to go ahead and let's talk about that?
So, the name is called A Crate of Kidnapped Puppies. And what you said was you could decide if the mother became a boss and whether the mother was a Labrador or a beast. And what I was thinking, how would it recognize it if it was a crossbreed?
So I'm thinking she would recognize, maybe it's a scent or something that the mother is like, oh, those are my puppies. So, and she would, either you'd have to, if the mother did not know or recognize those were her puppies, then she would have to stumble across you in your path. And that's something that you could do as a DM. In my mind, what happened is that there's a dubious person or someone of ill repute who intentionally bred these displacer beast Labrador puppies, put them in a crate, and somehow they were kidnapped and sold off. And you could totally come back later and make the mom, the dog, the mom a boss. And there's just so many options there.
So you're talking like this is just like an action, like you just have a crate of puppies and you just throw it, but you said this was a spell. So wouldn't they just you magically make them appear, or do you just collect puppies?
So it's kind of like a bag of holding. Yeah. So okay, so in D&D you can let your campaign members come across a pet merchant. Where they would purchase pets. Well, what if there's a disreputable pet merchant and they're breeding monsters, if you will, and they just happen to get this crate. So the puppies would live inside of a crate. Like, the crate would be like a world, like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, like the suitcase. So that's where they would live, is inside there. And then when you throw it and the crate pops open, that's when the puppies come out. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Kind of like a Pokemon situation.
Like a Pokemon situation. There you go. Yeah.
I'm just saying that guy sounds like me. That's how I came up with a chicken gorgon. I took a chicken and I took a demigorgon. And then
Talk about your chicken gorgon.
Yeah. Well, all of its stats aren't fully developed, but I have most of them. You can check it out on D&D Beyond. But yeah, it's really epic. You should go check it out.
And it's chicken gorgon, all one word, right?
Yep.
And it's just CHICKEN GORGAN?
GON.
GON. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Chicken gorgon. And it's on D&D Beyond.
Yep.
We do not get paid by D&D Beyond. If they would like to sponsor us, we would happily take their money. But just as a disclaimer, several of us do use D&D Beyond personally, but they don't support us, or we don't make any money off of them at all. Like, we have no connections to them. So hey, D&D Beyond, if you're out there listening and you want to support your local middle school podcast, we're happy to take your money. Thank you. Yes.
I have a question about the crate of puppies.
Okay.
So is it just Labradors, or somewhere out there's a box of chihuahuas. Debbie Gorgon chihuahuas.
Oh God.
Could you imagine? That would be, yeah. You could take the spell and you could take it and you could, do whatever you want with it. You can make it any kind, but that would be hilarious. A Chihuahua displacer beast, like puppy. Yeah. Oh my God.
I don't think that'd be very effective at holding things. They probably weigh like 10, 15 pounds.
Well, instead of 6, you have like 20.
Yeah, you could do that too. Yeah, you could up the number of puppies. It's so versatile. I think, when you're doing a homebrew, you have so many opportunities to do whatever you want with it. So, but I love that idea, a Chihuahua puppy. That's funny.
Back to the mixed beast, I made something called a Cotopaxi. It's a raccoon, a fox, and a beaver. And there's a little bit of Herobrine inside it, but it can just control a bunch of animals. And the fox is in the middle, and then the raccoon is on one side, and the beaver is on the other. And it just has all of the tails. So you'll see a beaver tail in the middle, a fox tail on the left, and a raccoon tail on the right. And they can separate, and their eyes are milky white. And they just control all the animals, and they can turn any animal into whatever. Like, if we see a fish, they can turn it into a piranha and shoot it at you.
And shoot.
But, like, they have telekinesis.
Oh, okay.
I love how Stumbleduck was but why? Linkless?
Oh, I was just gonna say that I also brought a spell today.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, what it is, it's called the Wrath of the Bloodstained Moon. It's basically a ritual that you use on weapons or like any sword, magic staff that you have. But what you do is you put the weapon or staff on an anvil. You have 5 people that use the power of the blood moon to enhance your weapon. And what it does is that anytime you use it, if you hit someone with blood in them, then it heals them, it basically extracts the life out of them and gives it to you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you just explain what a blood moon is?
A blood moon is a moon that is it's all red. It's the same as a moon, but it's kind of like a solar eclipse, but
Oh, okay. Right.
yeah. And I use it for powerful things in my campaign.
Nice.
Are there any materials you need to complete the ritual? Because I know in a lot of fantasy or fiction works, you need a certain amount of items. You need this and this to complete the ritual.
Spell components.
Is there anything? Yes, spell components. Thank you.
Actually, it does need a spell. It's basically you put each person sacrifices a drop of blood. You put your weapon in the potion, and out of the cauldron or whatever you're brewing in, it sends a beam of light that goes straight to the moon, and once it goes out, you just see the sword.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Should name a mosquito that we can just like
A mosquito.
A mosquito, yes.
Oh, yes.
Just go kill 5 mosquitoes and they're good to go. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, I think that's a very interesting idea. I think it would have to be super duper rare, because I don't think if they had a bunch of weapons, I think only one player should be able to do that, because I think it'll make the campaign way too strong. Depending on the monster, maybe you should change it to where it takes chips of the soul and makes it weaker, and once you do a bunch of strikes, then all of its soul is gone.
Yeah, I agree, but it really depends on what campaign you're in, because in my campaign, anyone who's been in my campaign could tell you that I do not make things easy, and I'd say you could get, you may as well get the best things you could get, because I put, the strongest, ones. I put, the Queen of Dragons. I put all these vicious monsters.
And that reminds me of a spell that I made. And what it's called is skin trading, where you can use a spell to take away their soul and just toss it out, and their skin will become clothes almost, and you can use it to disguise yourself as somebody else. And you can take it off. You don't have to have it forever. And you can use it on yourself, but your soul, you do have the power of wielding somebody's soul and placing it into somebody else's body, but you only have like 5 seconds until that soul disappears completely.
Yeah. Would you need to, like, kill the person or, like, knock them out before you take their soul?
You'd have to weaken them but you don't want to kill them because then the soul will be gone forever. And then you won't be able to have the skin just empty.
Yeah.
Hey man, what's that zipper in the middle of your chest? Oh no, that's just my jacket.
No, nothing. It's just where my soul got yoinked out of me. I had a soul yoinking.
Yeah, I think you could just, like, take it off, like, one of the...
So there is a zipper.
But I don't think that's a zipper. It's just, like, it stitches itself together, and then
Be horrifying.
you can just tear it apart, and then you can come out, and then it'll just reform. So
wouldn't
it
wanna-
kind of works like armor, but you have to, because you can hit it and make a gash into it, and it might scratch you on the inside, but it'll re-stitch itself. But unless you hit the same spot in like 5 seconds over and over, I don't think you're gonna defeat.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds pretty horrifying. I wouldn't want to know that my character's body went to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and imagine watching it happen.
Okay.
It fits. Like, it can fit. Whether it was like a giant's skin, you can get into it and your body and skin will meet in the middle. Like, your body will get a little bit bigger and the skin will get smaller.
That is.
Yeah, and I thought my campaigns were crazy.
You have to know. And I'm taking your idea. I think it should happen on a blood moon, because that just seems appropriate for that type of situation. And you'll have to know the chant
Yeah.
to get either a wand or the powers.
When we were recording this, there's actually a blood moon coming up, so I guess it's time for us to steal everybody's skin.
Yeah,
And
March
also,
13th.
also upgrade your weapons.
And
Yeah.
and please do not steal anyone's skin.
Please don't, please.
If any of you have seen Silence of the Lambs, it doesn't go well if you try to steal people's skins. Silence of the Lambs is a horrific movie. I don't know if it's appropriate. You'd have to ask your parents if you can watch Silence of the Lambs. But in the movie, there was a serial killer who was killing people and starving them so that their skin became loose, and then he would use their. He was trying to make a suit.
The Simpsons did something as well with that.
Did they?
Yeah. What's the guy? Have you guys seen where the episode? There's like one episode where this guy steals other characters in the Simpsons skin and runs away from prison.
With other people's skin?
Yep.
That's horrifying.
What gave me that idea was this show just came out, Gentry Chow versus the Underworld, and it was painted skin, where it's this monster, and he doesn't steal people's skin, he just creates them. He makes them from who knows where. Nobody really knows where he gets the skin or the eyes.
Maybe he works like in a morgue. That's what I would like to
Yeah.
think. He's not stealing the skin of live people.
He is a demon, so we could just...
Oh, great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I call mine a wrath because you just, it like every time you use it, it like corrupts your body. So like, if you like attack someone, take their HP, like your fingertips became like they start coming apart. I mean, not
That's
like
what
not
I'm-
gruesome, but like it's kind of like
Okay.
That's what I was gonna ask, if there's any like balance to, because it is kind of an overpowered spell where it's forever enchanted to do that really cool healing effect. Is there anything that makes it, I shouldn't use this all the time? So that makes sense.
Yeah.
That leads me to the next. Most of the spells that I wrote have a balancing to them, and I have another one. It's not 100%. It's still like all of these are works in progress. So I don't want people out there screaming, "That's not practical," or whatever. So just take a deep breath. These are my homebrew made recipes. It's fine. You don't have to like them. But this is a peanut butter potion, and it takes a DC 18 athletics check on your enemy. And if they fail, it slows the enemy to half movement speed and rolls at a disadvantage for 1d4 turns. And the reaction is the caster's tongue gets stuck to the roof of their mouth, and they can't talk or cast for 1d4 turns, or until they roll a DC 18. So is that too complicated? Or
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that is a great idea. So, does they just move super slowly, or does the ground around them become peanut butter?
That's a great question. I have not thought about that. I hadn't thought about that far, whether or not it would be. I would imagine, I guess you could do it either way. You could either make it where the enemy is just stuck, just magically sort of bound, or you could actually create a puddle of peanut butter on the ground. I think it depends on you and how you want to use it, because then it becomes an issue for your players. Like that spot right there has now got peanut butter on it. If your players get, into that area, it could cause them a problem of they get stuck. Like there's that question as well. I think it's just how you want to use it.
Yeah, and is it crunchy or creamy?
Definitely always crunchy.
Agreed.
Crunchy just sounds much better. I would, even if my enemy was stuck in it, I would just go over, get a piece of bread, some jelly, and eat it. If there was a beehive over, I'd just burn that beehive and get some honey.
Burn
So-
the beehive.
Yeah.
Oh my god. You don't have to burn the beehive. You can just get some honey. They'll share.
They
You just use
burn
smoke
me.
you use smoke to it lulls them to sleep.
Yeah, and then I'll burn them.
Why?
No, the world needs bees. Don't burn the bees.
You're going down the route
And
of
bees-
exploding puppies.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of wasps, because
No, I'm
wasps
thinking
bite
of
again. Wasp can bite you repeatedly. Or sting you rather. Excuse me. I just heard my brother-in-law yelling in my ear because he's an apiarist. That means he cares for bees. Apiary. He has an apiary, or he used to. So they sting. So wasps can sting you repeatedly, but a bee can only sting you one time and then it dies. So they don't want to sting you unless it's absolutely necessary. So you can put them to sleep with smoke, and then you remove them. That's how, like, he does bee extractions.
Yeah, that brings me to another spell I was making, where you can summon a bunch of bees, and bees, wasps, hornets. It's just a huge thing, and you can make. So you spawn this gigantic nest, and you can trap your enemy inside it, and inside will be a bunch of bees and wasps, and they'll just be torturing them and will take a lot of damage because it'll be poison tip. And after like 10 minutes or so, the beehive will crumple to dust after you use the spell.
Oh, okay. That sounds kind of like it's got an inspiration from oh gosh, what is that show? That was Catching Fire. No, wait, what is it?
Games?
The Hunger Games. There you go. I couldn't. I was like, I can see the cover of the book, but I was struggling with the name. Okay. Is there anything we want to wrap up with today?
Yeah, back on the peanut butter thing. What if they're allergic to peanuts?
That's great. I mean, in the fantasy world, do people have allergies? That's a great question. That's another thing that we can talk about. And I think it
can
depends
talk
on the
about, like,
world.
flaws.
What's that?
Like that could be under their flaws.
Their flaws. Okay.
And I'm severely allergic to peanuts.
Could you feed the Labradors the peanut?
That is a great question.
Oh yeah.
As a treat, could you feed them a peanut butter potion I mean, you could.
If you drink it,
If
does it
the-
taste like peanut butter?
This is all of the editor. Unfortunately, the audio cuts out here. So this will conclude this week's podcast, episode 1 of Spells. I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.